Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to a festive episode of Sour Graps. I'm your host, Alex Pawlowski, and with me, as always, is Kate Hensler.
Or some version of me after that 2-hour episode of wrestling, of sports entertainment.
It was
What?
a thing. It was a thing.
It happened. It did happen.
I thought everybody would need some cheering up, so I wore my really fun hat. This is Santa going head first down the chimney on my head. So I hope everybody likes it. Also, I got my He-Man and She-Ra Christmas sweater. So,
ooh,
yeah.
I
thought we'd have things to celebrate tonight. Silly me.
Silly me. I hated so much about this episode. Do you want to start with the ending? Well, first of all, before we do that, we should tell people.
Please send in Humper chats to humperchats.com.
There it is.
Super chats at the bottom of the chat on the YouTubes. Subscribe to Fightful Select, where apparently you're going to see me and Kate doing more stuff over there now. Sean roped us into doing stuff over there, so we did a post NXT WarGames on Sunday that people seem to enjoy. So yeah, we'll probably do those for every time they do the NXT thing, and probably some regular main roster stuff. But good Lord, I don't know what we're going to have to talk about there.
Well, these shows are basically the same now, and we can get into the fact that they just use the same finishes on things.
Yep.
But do you want to start with we'll leave a thumbs up so that people can find us in the whatnot. And there's no other thing to give a thumbs up to in this world. So I just let's start with the Gargano ending, I think, because it was
sure. I mean, they built to it all night. And they had Candice backstage. She didn't get a talk or anything. There wasn't anything but she was there with their dog. And then Johnny came over and said hi to the dog before he came out. And, he came out to his Rebel Heart theme. For those of you who somehow watch this show every week, but don't pay the $5 to watch the Peacock. I mean, I wouldn't, but I kind of have to because it's my thing. But, yeah, no, if you didn't see NXT WarGames, he came out to his old Rebel Heart theme. His babyface theme came out again this way, and they gave him a Johnny Wrestling chant. He had tears in his eyes, like honest to God, tears in his eyes. And I thought to myself, Johnny, if you start crying, then I'm going to start crying. So please, Johnny, don't start crying. I don't want my mascara running during the podcast.
Of course.
Once I start going, it's just the waterworks don't stop. So so he came out and said, how much he loves the place and how, much, the thing I thought that he paid a lot of attention, like Full Sail, which is not what the CWC is, but that's its origins.
Right.
A lot of the same fans. I'm sure he recognizes a lot of the same fans who were there during his big moments. He had a hell of a half dozen years there. Amazing stuff. Still the longest term storytelling that the WWE has done on any level in the last, 2-3 decades was the stuff that still continues to simmer under the surface between him and Ciampa. And I just love that they were two singles guys who were paired together to be first round exits in the Dusty Classic one year and became like one of the overarching stories that has continued to thread all of NXT together over the years. It's kind of an amazing story. But he talked about how, he doesn't know where he's going to go. And, he did say, I like this thing. He says, I've never felt more important and more loved than being in this place with you guys. I don't know what my immediate future holds, but I do know I'm going to be a dad in February, and that's the most important thing and everything. And then the camera goes in tight, and the crowd starts going, no, 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 no. And I was like, oh, who did they pick for this? Who did they pick for this spot? And I honestly, I don't know why, but the thought never crossed my mind that it was going to be Grayson Waller who came in with a chair, hit Johnny from behind, stop talking about how it's not your house anymore, it's my house. And then he's beat him up with a chair, did the put your head in the thing and smash the chair, and then he power bombed him through the announce desk. Talked some shit to Vic Joseph, who Johnny Gargano had just put over as his best friend. So the whole thing is like, I don't know if this makes it more or less likely for him to come back eventually. I honestly don't. I mean, if you told me that he's going to go away for paternity leave and then come right back to NXT in 5-6 months, I'd be like, yep, that sounds about right. Johnny said all the things you would want him to hear him say if you wanted him to stay. But I also can't tell you that he wouldn't just show up at on AEW one night just because he can now. Honestly, don't know. But I will say, not too happy, not too pleased with the guy who got the rub from taking out Johnny during his big farewell speech.
He was actually the first person that popped in my mind once the crowd started telegraphing it for all of us at home. Not that they would have known; it's not like their fault.
Right. Honestly, I should have anticipated it, but
just because he's been doing this whole anti-indie thing.
I know.
And Gargano is the guy for that. I don't know if this to me, it feels like he's staying, right? Like, to have someone do that, but also there's a couple of things here. One, he could have not made any decision. He could just genuinely be going to be a dad and then see what shakes out. He also, didn't love what happened with Kyle O'Reilly in this steel cage match at the end. If people in WWE think that they're if Vince thinks that these guys are going to AEW, this might be the new disgraceful way they send people off. There's how Lita got sent off, and then this. I don't know. I don't know if this is a huge indicator, because I could see Vince definitely doing that, being that petty. But to me, I wonder if sincerely he hasn't made any decision. Mm-hmm. He could have every card on the table. He could see what ROH is going to do in March if they are going to come back. That guy could go clean up on the indies if he wanted. So I think he might really go back and rest his body and be a dad regardless of where he's signed, if he's re-signed. But I don't think it's beyond Vince to be this petty if he thinks people are going to AEW, especially considering what they did to Kyle O'Reilly earlier in the episode, which also felt just egregious and unnecessary in my opinion. But I'm glad he got to say. The reason it felt sincere was because when he started naming people that you wouldn't normally name, video package editors and stuff, that makes me feel like he really left. But he's also very good at this, so he might have been doing that just to get us to bite. But when you start naming dudes in the back who nobody's heard of, that feels very sincere. So I don't know. The thing is, I don't like this, and I hated this episode, and we'll get into it. And man, I didn't think WarGames was that bad, and then they followed up with this, and I thought it was such a bad episode that I was at least emotionally invested in this. And I was I don't like this no matter what the outcome is. I guess it could be cool if Waller is going to be this super heel, but there's not even any indie guys left for him to take out after Gargano's gone and O'Reilly's gone, really. Who's left that he's
what's his gimmick left? Who's
he gonna? I don't understand. So
he doesn't have a gimmick anymore because all the guys got released. I mean, I guess he's obviously going to continue this thing with Larry Knight because I guess we'll wrap this into this discussion because we're talking about Grayson Waller. It wouldn't feel right to just go back to that later. Outside the Performance Center, he's hitting on some girl. Talking about, hey, did you see how I did that amazing thing off the cage.
Listen, hot girls, don't hang out in the NXT parking lot. Haven't you learned anything?
Because either you're going to get run over by a car or hit on.
Or kidnapped. People
by
just
Grayson Waller.
Honestly,
the kidnapping is the least of your concerns. I'm more worried about vehicular homicide or being hit on by Grayson Waller. I'm not sure which of those two things is worse. But Grayson Waller
made the right call.
Yeah, no, just Grayson saying. Waller is hitting on I got plans actually. I'm hanging out with somebody else. Who could you possibly be hanging out with that's better than Grayson Waller? And it's LA Knight. And so she goes and gets in his car that's far too small for a man of his stature. I don't know how he folds himself into that Mazda Miata or whatever the hell he was driving.
It was a Miata. I had a Z3 that was a Miata. They're not like made for anybody that's like over 5'5", and I know that because I'm 5'8" almost.
Yeah.
Look, he did it right though. It's a Mazda Miata. It's probably manual. It was black on red. It was a good-looking car. If you're gonna go swoon a gal, you might as well do that. But who are these nondescript hot girls that just hang around NXT all the time?
Well, apparently this one is Tisha Price. Apparently.
Oh, okay, yeah, she's been on AEW Dark a few times, and
there you go.
All right.
Now, so then he's like, "Hey, so you're all about likes and views, Wally." I like he calls him Wally. I like that. I like when the cocky baby face has nicknames for the heel. It's just tickles me in all the right places. Hey, Wally, you're all about likes and views, huh? Well, how do you like this view? Yeah. And he drives away. And then he says, "Oh, I'm going to get some views," says Grayson. So I should have known at the time that that's his big plan. That's his big plan.
This is sadly one of my favorite things on the show.
Yeah.
This segment and what Bivens did are basically the only things on the show that I liked. That's it.
Yeah. So,
and are we just gonna let him keep doing this? Yeah, and not complete dummy. I'm actually completely in on that. If he's just gonna go around going, yeah, but never say dummy and complete, no, I'm so okay with that.
Yep.
Keep it around.
Yeah. Anyway, I've seen some people in the chat, the usual types. Like, oh, you people want new stars, but they give the rub to this new star. And you're like, this is stupid. I just don't like this particular new star they chose. Now, listen, we all have our own proclivities and our own biases. Mine is, I don't know. Before this thing, Carmelo Hayes was feuding with Johnny Gargano. I feel like he doesn't, I guess, need the rub because he's already a champion. And he's moved on to other things, I suppose, now. But he's still feuding with Johnny's in-canon son-in-law. Maybe my boy Tony D gets the rub because I think has a much. I guess maybe Grayson Waller needs it because Tony D is already over. Grayson Waller needs some rub, and they don't have anybody else to do this.
But
they don't have anybody else to do.
This is go home heat. Like, they continue to book heat on booking and not on characters, and I hate it. Like, it makes sense with the I hate indie wrestlers, even though we all ended up at the same place gimmick, right. Kind of. And if they pay it off, if Gargano comes back here, that makes sense. But otherwise, book anything else and just let Johnny Gargano have his moment. Yeah. I'm like excited, but also nervous at the same time that like he is going to AEW and this was his send off. And because Vince feels like being spiteful, like this might be how he got sent off. Well, I mean, and they're going to justify it this way.
I understand if you're going to have a match like Kyle O'Reilly did, you put over the guy on your way out. But the Nerd Guru says what should have happened is no attack. But Candice and Ciampa came out to hug him like the ending of TakeOver New York. That's called tasteful and respect. Yeah. I mean, but I guess the whole thing is that if you're leaving, we don't respect you anymore, Johnny. And that's why I feel like there's the door is at least open for him to sign a contract after paternity leave, which he might not have been granted anyway. Let's be honest. If his contract was still going, they would have him come in all the time. So now it's like, well, my contract's up. I think Candice and I are good. So I'm gonna go off and be a dad for like 6 months, and then we'll see. Maybe that's what he told them. I don't know, but it did not feel like he told them, no, I'm not resigning. I'm gonna be at AEW and winter is coming. I don't think he told them that. So it's there's something there that's in the midway.
If I'm him, that's what I look. If I'm him and I don't know what it's like to be a wrestler or anything like that, but if I'm him, I'm seeing AEW contracts are coming up. I'm seeing ROH is on pause, and I'm seeing I'm going to be a dad in a few months. Like, what is, if you're financially okay, obviously, right, but like, what is the rush then? Like, why wouldn't you see if there's room in AEW for you, if ROH is going to come back? Why wouldn't you? I guess maybe if you were going to the main roster, you'd want to jump in before Royal Rumble. But like, if I'm that dude and I'm financially secure, I'm taking my time. Like, I get that. So my gut feeling, and this is completely hypothetical, is just that he hasn't signed anywhere yet. But yeah, I didn't like this really under any circumstances, especially because they even gave like the cable time overage stuff. Like, if that wasn't really him saying goodbye, if they like gave us, like, I could find an extra 10 minutes to cut in the show. Believe me, I was able to cut 100 or an hour and 40 minutes out of the show, to be honest. So I just feel like that whether he's leaving, I felt like that was really distasteful. If he's staying and going to the main roster, I still don't love it. If he's coming back, it at least makes wrestling sense. I still don't like it, but logically in wrestling world, it makes sense. But I just don't know who Waller continues against, railing against these indie guys when there's not going to be anyone left. Like, I guess Roderick Strong, kinda.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be Kushida because he's in jacket time. Like, I don't know who really fits that mold to get you to that point.
It's just Larry Knight. That's the whole thing.
But he's not even. I get that he was on the Indies for a real long time, guys. Don't light up the chat again with that. I understand. He's not indie guy though.
I'm telling you what they have on the roster, and that's about, unless you're going to have him do a Pete Dunne thing. But Pete Dunne apparently seems like he's involved with my boy Tony D. So I mean, it's let's get on these Super and Humper chats about this whole thing. Shauna Walensky says, Alex, it could have been worse. It could have been Von Wagner. Oh wait, he destroyed Kyle. Never mind. Gabagool. Thank you,
and
Shauna. Shotkid 29 says, so the Aussie cartoon and WWE Encino Man get the rub from Kyle and Johnny leaving. Yep, I'm officially done with NXT. Except, of course, for hashtag Kalex. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Nerd Guru says, I'm very confused by this episode. I was so ready to give 2.0 a real chance, and they do this show with a cliffhanger. Oh, well, see you tomorrow, Kyle. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you'll be there tomorrow. Maybe they'll wait and do a big debut at Winter is Coming or Battle of the Belts. Or, yeah, we'll see. But, I mean, hey, maybe he's in the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal tomorrow as a surprise. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm going to that show tomorrow, by the way. So
yeah.
Yay!
There was a Cyclops is better than Wolverine sends a Humper chat saying, I love the Indy face, Indy Hartwell's face when Johnny came into the room talking about family to Indy and Dexter. That was a nice little moment too. Because really, like, she's made now in NXT. Like, I don't know about the main roster, but she's made now in NXT because of those The Way segments that she did with Johnny and Candice. Valab says Johnny should just hang back, maybe do Bola in January. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see Johnny Wrestling do some Johnny Indie Wrestling.
I honestly, I have no idea what's going on with Ring of Honor, but like, I feel like the best thing for him over the next couple years might not be AEW because it is getting crowded over there. And I don't think the top of the card has a lot for him and he feels bigger than a mid-carder. I think for him to be the guy at ROH, if they do revive themselves and to go crush the indies would be great and work New Japan. Come on, Johnny Gargano in New Japan. Let's go.
Here's the thing, Kate. If there was somebody who knew what the hell they were doing running this company, he'd be up on SmackDown as the top babyface right now.
Oh, of course.
I mean, because he can go with anybody. And you don't have a good babyface on SmackDown. You don't. You have Drew, but he's kind of tainted by his history. You have the dried out husk of Jeff Hardy. Like, you don't have...
And you don't even have that right now, to be honest. Like, right. It doesn't look like.
Right. So like, you don't have, like, a guy you could build by getting him some good wins. And, like, I mean, obviously...
Well, Xavier.
Yes, I suppose. I write him off because I hate the King gimmick, no matter who is running it.
Really?
I think it's a lame thing. Like, I think it's like, you're not actually a king. You won a tournament. You got...
Okay, but here's the thing. It is lame. But I love it.
and that is your right. That is your right.
That is my right as an American. But I think I think if somebody's made for it, it's King Xavier. Like I really like what he's doing with it. But I understand your complaint. You're not actually the king of something. You won a tournament. I'm a tournament mark. I love King of the Ring. I think it's fun.
I loved King of the Ring when the whole thing happened on one day. You'd have guys like wrestling 3 and 4 matches. And then if you won, the reason you won the tournament is because it guaranteed you a title match. And most guys, when they won it, after their title match, weren't king anymore. Like, you had to be king from the end of June till the end of August, and that was it. Now, some guys, you had Macho King who, like, let it run for a while, but, like, most guys who were king, like, well, but that was later. I'm talking about way back in the day when it was like in the 90s, like that was what it was. Anyway, I don't want to get into a SmackDown thing. I'll be here forever. I think that Gargano has all kinds of Gargano has all kinds of options, and I think that a lot of people who are like, well, I don't know where he fits in AEW. I'll tell you where he fits. Having 5-star bangers anytime he gets in the ring with any of those guys. Like,
oh my god, that's not a thing.
Like, people don't recognize like how great his matches were in those takeovers. He is not only is he amazing as a singles wrestler, but like his tag stuff. Like, you could find a tag team for him to slot in, and he's such a great, I don't know, he's such a great wrestler. And I honestly think he's a decent promo and an easy to root for babyface, and showed that he can be a great comedy heel, a smart heel too. Like, I didn't think that I had no idea that he had the Way character. I had no idea he had that in him. I was like, you're turning Johnny Gargano heel? That's never gonna work. And I was proven wrong immediately.
Like, father-in-law of a serial killer heel. Like, I didn't see that coming at all. But I'm with you. Like, who do you have good matches against? Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia, CM Punk, Darby Allin, MJF. Like, there's no short list over there. But regardless, I saw someone say, like, you know, that they had their list of who they thought the best NXT wrestler was, the soul of NXT and the heart of NXT. And I think everybody kind of thinks that Johnny Gargano was the heart of NXT in a lot of ways. And you know, I agree with that tweet a lot. Like, I think when you think of Johnny Takeover, like, that's kind of, he's one of those guys that defined that era for sure. And it's also just ridiculous when you think about, like, you could do a Mount Rushmore of just NXT up till this point, right? And I think what's sad is that you could do, and I would be debating that for a long time, like, truly, who my NXT Mount Rushmore is. And then when you think about how those guys move on to the main roster, I don't think there's anybody past Bryan Danielson that people would put on their, like, overall Mount Rushmore, which is sad. Like, I don't think anyone's putting Roman Reigns there. Like, some people put Cena there, and I understand why, but, like, post Bryan Danielson, who is someone that would make anybody's Mount Rushmore. I don't think there is.
Yeah.
But like that NXT one, you could just salivate over, right? Like, I don't know who I even put on there between Nakamura and Owens and Zayn and my God, just the women like Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that makes me nervous with Gargano. Like, if he is going to stick around and go to the main roster, like, we have not seen successful handoffs for the men in a very, very, very long time.
No, and he'd be dead in the water. He'd be I don't know, Ricochet minus all the crazy high flying. I think basically he'd be some guy we're like, oh, we like that guy. Whoops, he lost in 6 minutes.
He
like,
would be beating Dana Brooke for the 24/7 title. Laugh because it's true.
Yeah. Money Mark says AEW is going to Cleveland in February, but I think that's January 26th. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing saying he couldn't like do some appearances in like a lighter schedule. But when you saw his face, we started talking about that kid he's got on the way. I really believe that wherever he goes, if he goes anywhere else, if he stays here, we're not going to see him wrestle again. I honestly think until that kid, is several months old. Like, he's gotten to be a dad. Like, and like from personal experience, like I could tell you, like, it absolutely changes all of your priorities in your head about the rest of your life. So it's very possible I'm like, you know what, I'm good for now. I mean, I'm not retiring, but like I'll be okay just being a dad for a little bit. I mean, I'm not sure how he's gonna work from that. Volab says Johnny has been effectively written out of storylines and made Waller the biggest heel in the company. I hope Waller's not the biggest heel in the company. I mean, man, I don't know. I've never warmed to that guy, heel or face. I guess we'll see what he does from now on. I'm not saying he can't do certain things. I just don't seem to really care.
Look, this is the biggest emotional reaction I had with him. It was just go home heat, but it was heat. Like, they're so obsessed with booking heat. Like, it worked. I was really annoyed. I was really annoyed at what they scripted and not as him. Yeah. But biggest heel, if you asked me this weekend, I would have said Braun Breaker, but I guess he's kind of not a heel anymore.
No. Both he and Tony D tonight turned face.
Our face again.
Like, so I don't know how that's possible. Tony D is right down the middle.
Tony D is.
But Breaker absolutely Breaker came out today. We're talking about this out of order. But Breaker came out today. Breaker came out today and said those guys are the heart and soul. They built this place, and I have nothing but respect for them. Okay, that's fine. You teamed with a bunch of assholes, and we kind of, I guess, painted you with that brush. But we just
specifically to take out the people that you respect. But should we go to the top of the show? Because otherwise we'll be all over the place, and there's no way we're getting out of here in 2 hours.
Of these Johnny.
let's give Johnny Wrestling his due since NXT did it. Sean
Blandford says Johnny Wrestling for Bola, please and thank you. I mean, maybe not this year, but definitely I want to see that. Mark Losper saying Gargano could just rock up at AEW on a per appearance contract if he felt like it until his wife gives birth. He has all the options right now. That's for sure.
Schedule is going to be a thing. I said this about Owens / soon to be Steen, I think.
Yeah.
I really truly think that schedule is going to be a deciding factor for some of these guys. Like, it's both physically and like not having to leave to randomly go to Saudi Arabia a couple times a year and stuff.
Yeah. Miguel Ortiz says, I was hoping for Gargano to become the Casino Battle Royal surprise Joker at Double or Nothing after his daddy duties. Now that seems like the right kind of timeline for what I'm talking about. If his wife gives birth in February, he can have a few months being at home with the kid, and then he can start there. And like he could be the Double or Nothing Joker. And if he loses that match, he doesn't have to like be on every show. Tony Khan has obviously showed that like he's willing to work with guys. So maybe that's something they might do.
It's a shame they can't trade. Like, couldn't you see them being like, I'll trade Brian Cage for Johnny Gargano?
Yes, I could.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, That should be a thing.
Thomas LaValle says Johnny back with Chucky T feuding with heel Orange Cassidy.
I have from the beginning been a huge proponent of an Orange Cassidy heel turn. People underestimate how powerful of a device apathy is, and him just being this guy who's a dick and doesn't care would be so good.
Here's what I want to see though, because I know this would strain belief from other people, from a certain set of people who like to talk on the internet. But if he turns heel, I need for him to do the kicks and the super kick spot, but with like a kendo stick or a chair. Just like...
No, that rules. No, but like, here's a good, if you're trying to wrap your head around what an Orange Cassidy heel turn would look like. He was on Colt Cabana's podcast before he launched Wrestling Anonymous, his second podcast, which is also very fun. But the way he took Colt Cabana to town, I was like, there is a heel turn in this dude, and everybody that says he's one note is going to be eating their words when he does it. But oh man, that would be such gangbusters. Gargano versus heel Cassidy. I love that idea.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get back to some more of these as we go on. I'm sure there's... we'll talk about this now. Mark Losper says, as an Australian, apologies for Grayson Waller. We might have no scene, but we like indie wrestlers for what it's worth. And Ronald Hollick says that heel Orange Cassidy becomes blood Orange Cassidy.
I'm in on blood Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. So the show starts with the Van Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly cage match. And I would say about 45% of this was just Von Wagner giving Kyle O'Reilly a lazy Heimlich maneuver. Like it was just him like doing a bear hug from behind, but like not really cinching it in. And there was really no heat to it. And it was not great. And the finish, he fully turned heel because Kyle O'Reilly attacked him before the match. Maybe Kyle O'Reilly's going to work heel in this thing. Maybe Von Wagner saw the true nature of Kyle O'Reilly, so he attacked him before Kyle O'Reilly could attack him. Maybe nope, because Von Wagner went with the dick with dick punch, and so he turned fully heel.
Punch him in the groin.
He did the Shinsuke Nakamura heel turn, where when in doubt, just you're twice the guy's size, punch him in the dick. Yay, you won. So that's what we did. We did that. And he hit that. I don't know what that thing is. It's like a underhook spin to a slam thing.
He's been there for 5 years and can't throw punches. Like, I don't know. Here's my thing. I've not understood what I'm supposed to take away from his character. I've thought he telegraphed and was clumsy, but was holding his own in the ring. Yeah. This exposed a lot of in-ring weaknesses this match because he was kind of disguised in like tag matches, and then the title match was four-way, right? Was it triple threat? I think it was a four-way that he was in. So he wasn't in there that long, and he was protected. This showed a lot of weaknesses, unfortunately, for Von Wagner-Hausen, who just punches people in the groin now. But this was a crummy way for Kyle to go out, I think. And I hate cage matches where they don't really use the cage that much. Use the fucking cage.
Well, yeah. I mean, we had a cage match on last night. And there wasn't even a reason for it to be a cage match. Like it was. Your cage match ends a feud. At least this one ended a feud. Like it began the feud and ended the feud. It was that thing that ended it. Like in the middle of a feud that Big E is having with two guys, he takes one guy and puts him in a cage match where nothing changes no matter who wins. Like it's not like if Kevin Owens loses, he's out of the title match. No, like nothing happens. Dude. Like you don't just do a cage match for the sake of doing a cage match. The match was great last night, not tonight. last night.
So unnecessary. Yeah. Like, I just don't do the Brett and Owen leaping toward the cage spot. Like, come on, man. I didn't like that at all. But yeah, this, I guess it made sense in that way. But like, you have to use the cage. Yeah. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless. If you're just doing Heimlich maneuvers, then a friend of mine, my friend Brian, once said, it's like then you're just watching a cage through lattice work if you're there live. Like, there's just no point. Like, I just felt like if you're going to be Heimlich maneuvering people the whole time, use the cage more.
Yeah.
And then the post-match beatdown thing was stupid. I didn't like it.
Yeah, like he wasn't actually smashing his head in the door or even his face in the door. Like, you could tell, like, where they had set him up, like he wasn't actually taking any damage. And I'm wondering if Kyle was like, "Hey, I can't take any damage in this match because I got to be in a match tomorrow night." So I'm wondering if he might have told, "Hey, Vaughn, go easy on me, cool? I'm gonna put you over, kid, but you go easy on me, not in the face." JW Pringle says, "I've said it before. Von Wagner is who I would draw if you asked me to draw a nondescript wrestler. Just blurg."
You said that it's like the Build-A-Wrestler video game style thing.
Just like, you don't even, just like, I just want to create a wrestler and work on his moveset. Just give me, I'm not going to like do anything to his hair or his abs or anything. Just put something here, and that's what he is. He's just a thing that just like, yeah.
Wade Barrett on commentary said, he goes, "You might not like it, but Von Wagner is a player in NXT." And I was like, well, you got that one right.
Yeah.
The only thing that could have been better would be like if he was like, "I'm afraid I have some bad news."
Yeah.
Von Wagner is a player in NXT. Yeah. But this is it. Like, Braun Breaker is clearly a face. So this is like their heel guy.
Yeah.
Like, what? And he can't throw a punch. Like, oh God, his footwork's bad. Like, this really exposed a lot of work that he has to do in ring wise. This was not good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I don't know what else to say about it. He's just not ready for it yet. Matt Reichel sends in a Humper chat. Go to humperchats.com, sends in a Humper chat. "Hey, Alex, Kalex 2.0. God, I'm hoping Kyle makes the travel from Orlando to Long Island tomorrow. Wrote off Johnny and Kyle to put over Von Wagner and Grayson Waller. Don't get it." Well, I get Von Wagner. I think that was always kind of the plan. They were going to break up the tag team eventually, and Kyle was going to put over Von Wagner. That was always going to happen. But
because they could have
happened on a shorter timeline. So that's all.
And I get them putting over Grayson Waller too. That doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah. So Ryan Sullivan says that Von Wagner is Vigo from Ghostbusters 2.
That's fair.
"I, Vigo, the scourge of Carpathia, the sorrow of Moldavia, command you." Command me, Lord.
Oh my God, he just gave you another impression. I love
Ghostbusters 2. Oh, the Ghostbusters 2 impression that I love to do is Dr. Janosz Poha. That guy's awesome. Dude, what do you think? That guy's not Game Bros Blue Boy over there. He's Vigo. I love that kid. Man, Peter McNichol in Ghostbusters 2, one of the best comedic performances ever. Why are you came? Like, I will pop for a nondescript Eastern European accent anytime I get it.
Guys,
then why are you came?
Leave a thumbs up for a nondescript European accent.
Christopher Marino says there are photos on Twitter after the show, and Gargano was in tears hugging Shawn Michaels, Ciampa, and O'Reilly. Yeah, it's
yeah. That's how he sincerely went out. I'm gonna be pissed.
I mean, it's the way it works. They're trying to make Grayson Waller into something. The same way they're trying to make fetch happen with Trick Williams. They're trying to make fetch happen with Grayson Waller, and this is the way they thought they could do it. And Johnny, honestly, is an old school enough guy to be like, yeah, absolutely, sure. Let's try and get the kid something on my way out. Absolutely.
The post-match beatdown on this opening match and Gargano going out like this. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that does feel like in the same way it feels like they punished Triple H for losing to AEW. It feels like you're probably going to AEW, so let's punish you on the way out. Like, we're not going to let you totally leave with tact, but we also understand that you built this place. So we'll like kind of let you.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The Nerd Guru says, "Thank you, Kyle. You can rest now. It's time to come home." And that is undisputed.
Undisputed.
Seriously, Tony Khan needs to buy that copyright. It's only fitting. I don't think they're going to release that one. Ryan Sullivan says, "Alex is a Ghostbusters 2 mark." I love Alex so much, man.
I love Alex so much. Kate does a show with me every Wednesday, but I love Alex so much.
Ghostbusters 2 is unfairly maligned, man. That is a great sequel. So good. And Samuel Galoy sends in a super chat with an inside joke that I'm not going to get into on here. But he says, "Hey, Alex, did your barber have any opinions on WWE having 4 cage matches in the span of 3 days?" Yeah, he thought it was a bad idea. Probably shouldn't have done that. Too many cage matches in too short of a time. It doesn't work. Yeah. There was a Joe Gacy vignette that I missed. Did he say anything new in it?
Just that they're gonna demolish, basically. That even though essentially they lost, they really won because inclusivity, and they're gonna demolish 205.
Well, Harland is gonna have his in-ring debut next week. We should all prepare ourselves for that.
Yeah.
Because if they were like, Von Wagner is ready now to be in a fatal 4-way for the NXT title, and they were like, Harland, you gotta stay in the shadows for a while. We'll just have you walk around the outside. I mean, if they think Von Wagner is ready, but it took them like a couple extra months to do some seasoning on old Parker Boudreaux.
Well, I think
we'll see.
I think he's just gonna squash people for a while, which is okay. Sure. I'm fine with that.
Which is what they probably should have had Von Wagner doing as a heel from the beginning. Yeah. Like, just throw in a different PC kid every week and let him squash people. Let him get his sea legs under him. Don't put him in some weird storyline with Kyle O'Reilly that makes no sense.
No, they should just It's the one thing that they're doing well with AJ and Omos on the main roster is like they haven't exposed how green he is because they keep him protected. But
yeah,
I think that's where we're headed. Now, the vignettes are really well produced. And
oh, sure. Yeah, they've got a great team there who knows what they're doing. Absolutely.
And Joe Gacy's real good at this. I gotta say, since they took the buzzwordy stuff out of it, this one was really good, and it feels like these little mini horror movies, which is good.
Yeah.
Bad for your dreams.
Yeah. Let's get some more of these super chats and stuff. Talking about how you are now apparently officially on Fightful Select occasionally. Valab says now people can legitimately cancel their Select subs because of Kate.
Oh, it's so much more fun when they cancel Fightful Select when I'm not on it because of me. That's just way more fun.
Chris Mueller says, I showed up for Kate's Stefan bit, but I stayed for Alex's hat. So that's good.
Well, we'll get to the Stefan bit because that whole thing was so much crazy in like a minute.
Yeah. The bean kicked in, says Kate's smile warms my heart.
Oh.
And then he says that he loves me.
Oh, so, well, thank you. I didn't smile for like the entire 2 hours of NXT, so I'm glad I got to hear. And I love Alex too, damn it.
Yeah. Viking Wife says, have to catch you guys tomorrow and hope you have a great night, but boy, does my heart hurt after that. What did they do to my brand? Look at how they massacred my brand.
Dude, do you know how depressing it's going to be when I go to Final Battle and ROH dies and I see NXT, the cruiserweight division, and ROH die in the same week? Not okay.
Some stupid punk. Wait, is Johnny leaving NXT or WWE? What happened? We don't know. He's probably leaving both. But he's definitely taking the next few months off to help Candice get ready for the baby and then be a dad for a few months. He might come back. Honestly, I don't think that option is off the table. But he also might go literally anywhere. But I'm not sure. But I think for now, he's gonna just be a dad for a little bit.
I hope we're wrong and he and Kyle both show up tomorrow. I hope he leaves tomorrow as Johnny Diamond. That's what I hope.
Oh wow. Yoko Littner sends in a Humper chat saying, today is the 9th anniversary of my dad's passing. Thanks, #Calix, for brightening what has been a rough day. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, it doesn't get any easier. You know, it's just one of those things. Every year it sucks. I'm happy that we can do whatever we can to make you smile on a bad day. That's honestly part of the reason why I continue to do this stuff, because it's a bad day for me every time I have to watch this crap. So I'm happy that I can make it a good day for you listening to me rag on it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for your loss. I just had an anniversary of a grandparent passing too. It sucks. Yeah. But you know what else sucks? NXT. That we can laugh about.
Yes. Yeah. So we got Braun Breaker coming out saying, saying, hey, I'm gonna come after Ciampa again. You can't keep me out of here. Like, Ciampa wasn't on the show tonight. He was there because he came out to like say hi to Johnny afterwards, but he wasn't on the show, which I thought was a choice.
I was waiting for him to interfere with Grayson Waller
to run Grayson Waller off. Yeah. At least attempt to. But that would have been actually almost worth it. Like if the next thing, because Braun, spoiler alert, we're about to talk about it. Braun's next thing he's doing is Roderick Strong. They could actually extend that for a little bit and have Ciampa's next thing be Grayson Waller as revenge for what Grayson did to Johnny Gargano.
Which I think might be where it goes anyway.
That's probably where it's going anyway, but it would have been nice to like start it in right now. Like part of the storyline happens when Ciampa runs him off.
It's like Wrestling 101, man. Just have him come out, run off Grayson Waller, stand in the ring with Gargano and Candice at the end.
Yeah.
Makes it so much more palatable.
So then Diamond Mine music hits. And Malcolm Bivens, God bless Malcolm Bivens. He comes out and he says the Creed brothers are going to demolish Brooks and Dunn, Briggs and Jensen, double vest in the beach. And before we do that, we wanted to talk to you because now I'm going to let you handle this because I honestly agree with you, but I think you're gonna tell the story better. That Malcolm Bivens figured out a way to explain this whole cruiserweight thing not being a cruiserweight thing anymore. And God bless him for it.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is actually true, but his justification for it was basically Bivens saying that he had run through everybody that was under the 205 weight limit, and because so many of them have been released, and the ones that I can kind of think of quickly off the top of my head have lost to him, that actually does make some sort of sense. I still hate it because I personally just love the cruiserweight division and I love 205 Live.
There isn't one anymore. So I understand, like Roddy, like I would fight them. I've beaten all of them. Nobody's a challenge. So I'm going to be a fighting champion, even if there aren't any challengers. So then I'm going to open this up so there can be challengers. I think that's actually kind of badass. Like
it's a way to do it to make him look strong in the process, which I really, really appreciate. Yeah. Also, I popped for him calling him LeBron.
LeBron. That's Braun is obviously short for LeBron.
Obviously.
Obviously. J.K. Schwalson's Humper chat saying first 2.0 episode. I made it more than 15 minutes in before turning it off.
This one, God bless.
Wish I had turned it on. All hail Malcolm Bivens, though. Yeah, he's really special.
He makes things in a world that makes no sense make sense. He's the closest thing there right now functioning to a William Regal, like, which is good. I wish William Regal was back. I wish there were rules that made sense, but he always finds something to create logic, which is what a good manager is supposed to do, in my opinion. Like, it always makes sense in that he's either trying to protect his guys, make his guys look strong, or make it make sense in the world that it's in. Sometimes all three, which is really, really difficult to accomplish. But this was the closest, save the Gacy inclusivity talk, like that. They clearly need to rebrand this thing anyway. They've been killing it off for a while, right? This is a way to do that makes Roderick Strong. I almost call him Riddick Moss every time. Roddy and Riddy. I'm gonna do it. I'm sorry. This makes Roddy Strong look strong.
Yeah.
Like a strong fish, you know?
Yeah. A strong fish. Next.
And I liked Breaker's half of this too. I like that he goes, whatever I gotta do to get back to Ciampa, man. Smart. Smart babyface work.
I'll fight your boy Strong. I'm assuming this is for the title, which is interesting. Because I don't feel like this is definitely going to end in a DQ of some kind, because you're not actually going to put you're not going to put the cruiserweight title on Breaker, and you're not going to put Strong over Breaker, so you're going to do something different. But later in the night, Carmelo Hayes has some words for Bivens, and for Roderick Strong's not even there. I think what they're going to get to is a unification bout.
I think so too.
Strong versus Carmelo Hayes for whatever they're going to call it. The singular undercard, mid-card title for the men in NXT. They're going to combine them into something. I don't know what they're going to call it.
The Somerset County. I'm convinced it's gonna get more specific. Like, if you have a North America title, I want it to get so granular that it's like school districts fighting each other at some point. Let's get that many titles in the picture. That's what New Japan should be doing. They have that many titles that they can probably fight. Like, county to county.
I'm very intrigued in them doing that. If that's what they're gonna do, because there aren't any more cruiserweights because Vince fired them all.
And less titles is better when that's the case. You know what I mean?
When they don't have enough people to do it. Like I love so much the idea because you had people who were the North. Like, I mean, this isn't their fault. This is the way they were booked. But like, I mean, Swerve Scott beat Bronson Reed for the North American title in June and defended it literally once before he lost it in October. Like, that's not okay. Like, I love the idea of Roderick Strong saying, I am getting rid of. I don't think you should be able to. I think you should have to talk to William Regal about it personally. But I do love him saying, I'm going to get rid of this weight limit and I'm going to face all comers because I can beat anybody. Marco Dominguez sends Humper Chat saying, so we have the NXT open weight title. Like, I don't think they're going to call it that, but essentially, yes. And that becomes a thing that can be the workhorse title. I don't know if they're ever going to do that, because they've obviously decided that doesn't exist on the main roster. The Intercontinental title has been defended once since August. So, probably there's no more workhorse titles in all WWE, but NXT could be. That's what it used to be. NXT North American Champion used to be the title because you have to wait and build a story for the main title. But NXT North American Championship matches happened on regular TV all the time. They had such amazing history with so many great guys there. You have the guys who are talented enough to face each other for that belt. I think that could be something at least that would keep me like not hating literally every second of this show. If they every now and then they would have like a Carmelo Hayes versus Roderick Strong, match.
Not hating every second of the show. This was one of those episodes. Save the segment. I think unifying that is good rather than letting it stick in the mud. And I think, it just sucks because, like, I'm a fucking mark. I like that there's lineages to these belts.
Yeah.
And to your point about Swerve not defending it in 900 years, they're doing this shit all over the main roster too. Look at Nakamura. He hasn't defended the IC title in like 3.5 months.
It's terrible.
To hang out with Rick Boogs. Like, I don't know, man.
So, they had Braun Breaker accept the challenge and then very brusquely push past Malcolm Bivens to leave. And the Creed brothers didn't do anything about it. Like, I would think at least one of them would have tried to, and Bivens would have been like, no, because you can't actually have them throw hands with Braun Breaker. But they also looked like they were chumps who didn't like, and then again, they were booked to be chumps because they had a tag match with Double Vest and the Beach. And I don't know, man. Double Vest and the Beach aren't my jam. And the Creed brothers looked awesome for the first couple of matches they had. They were booking them like super strong. Man, I really liked them, and I was like, they better beat these yahoos, and they didn't because of the dumbest reason ever. GYV is sitting at ringside at a commentary, and then also Imperium is up in their little Raven's Nest, watching everything for some reason. But James Drake gets up and rips the tag rope off of Double Vest in the Beach's corner, and then Double Vest tries to tag in, but there's no tag rope, and he's literally like searching for it. Where did it go? Where's the tag rope? And then he tries to tag in, but the ref's like, no, you can't tag in. No tag. There's no tag rope. You can't tag in. And I was like, this is really how they're going to have Double Vest and the Beach lose? No, just kidding. This is how they're going to have Double Vest and the Beach win, because the distraction caused by the no tag rope allowed the Beach to roll up one of the Creed brothers, not sure if it was Brutus or Julius, but then again, who cares, and get the victory. Was a ridiculous thing that happened. I've never seen anybody doing anything with a tag rope before in that way. Like, that's never been a thing, except for maybe with like the Revival was around. Nobody's ever had to hold the tag rope in an NXT match before. I mean, they have, good for them, but it's not like been a deal.
Okay, so I'll say this. For Brooks was selling, I think it was Brooks, was selling really well in this match, I thought. I was like, okay, like at least he sold a kick really well. He looked at least serviceable in the ring. I did not like the tights of the Creed brothers. They looked like concrete, which, as we all know, was Techno Team 2000's thing. Yeah. But they should always be wearing singlets, just not those ones. I have just written in my notes what kind of fucking dorks take a tag rope. And which is a fair question on my part.
It is.
And double on that. They just did this on Raw where the wrong team got distracted. Was it Raw or SmackDown? The wrong team got distracted.
Yeah.
With it was on SmackDown, right? Because it was Boogs and Knock and the Viking Raiders.
Yeah, they were trying to distract Los Lotharios and ended up distracting everybody. So Los Lotharios got the roll-up victory on the Viking Raiders. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, and then Boogs and Nakamura and the Viking Raiders just didn't care, and they just rocked out to their theme on guitar. I was like, that was one of the dumbest endings to a match I've ever seen. And they were like, let's basically replicate that here. I hated this. And I actually kind of liked what was going on between the ropes. I think the Creed brothers are great. I felt like Brooks and Dunn were holding their own. at least looked serviceable. Like they always at least look good enough in the ring that I can buy into it. I wish they were like a little bit more brawly. Like I don't like the character very much anyway, but like if you're gonna be those guys, if the thing that you connected over was the fact that you got in a bar fight, like be a little more brawly. Like be a little more like Jon Moxley feeling, kind of like Eddie Kingston, I'm gonna come there to kick your ass kind of thing. But we're in developmental, right? This tag rope thing and Imperium watching from their nest was just fucking weird. I hated so much of this. And the distracting the wrong team consequence thing was just stupid. And you're right. I don't think NXT has ever held the tag ropes like sacred enough. I hated this. And like also referee, tag ropes don't just suddenly disappear. Are you that dumb? They don't just go away. Obviously, someone
you weren't holding the tag rope. There is no tag rope. I don't care, young man. That doesn't matter to me. We're playing by the rules here.
And then that didn't even determine the outcome in the appropriate way.
J Blood says double vest in the beads are the Hallmark Channel Briscoes.
Oh no, that's so good.
They remind me how much this show feels like a parody of wrestling. They're either the Hallmark Channel Briscoes or the Hallmark Channel Smoking Guns. Like it's just without the cowboy hats, but they're basically the same characters. They wrestle in jeans and cowboy boots, except for one of them's got a double vest for some reason. It's Florida. I know it's wintertime, but it's Florida. What are you doing? What are you putting on layers for?
But like everybody wears a scarf with no clothes in wrestling, so I'll let that one go.
Yeah, I suppose. The JW Pringle continues the saga, says, "Hi, Kate's mom and dad. The show was a thumbs down, but you guys are a thumbs up. Mary Chrysler."
They're the best. My parents rule. They're so
cute. So let's just go directly into the thing that happened backstage, where Double Vest and the Beej are celebrating their victory, right?
Hallmark Channel Briscoes.
And then big time poopy boy Ikemen shows up with his sidekick Kushida, because that's honestly how it feels right now, and it makes my blood boil. And they're like, "You guys beat the Creed brothers. You're so great. What would you like to go eat gallons of ice cream and poop with me?" I mean, I think that's what Ikemen said, but I'm not really sure. Because they made sure his accent is extra thick. So then they're like, "Yay, hooray!" And then the GYV shows up, and you guys cheated. We cheated, but you weren't supposed to win. You cheated. And then Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter walk by and like, "A win is a win. Got 2 extra concert tickets. Who wants them?" And Double Vest and the Beej are like, "We'll take those," not even knowing what concert they're going to. And then they leave, and then everybody's arguing and they leave. And then Wendy Chu stands up from behind the little, it looks like it was like the break room. Like she stands up from behind the Formica countertop. She's wearing like little pigtails and her sleepy pajamas, and she's holding a big pillow, and she slurps from a big Slurpee, and then she stands up and she walks back. Mei Ying, what happened to you, Dragon Lady? Now your gimmick is that you take naps? What the hell's going on, Kate?
You forgot one of my favorite parts, which was that in wrestling, if you knock out a ref, it takes 25 minutes for them to find a new one.
Yeah.
Backstage, there was a box of refs that just spilled, and they were all there to sort out the concert ticket.
Yeah.
Sensitive operation or whatever the fuck Dragon Lady scenario. I said on Twitter that this felt like Stefan from SNL.
Yeah.
And Chris Muller from Bleacher Report tweeted, "It has everything. A sleeping Chinese dragon lady, cowboys, a Japanese guy in a rainbow blazer who takes massive dumps on camera for a show trying to appeal to kids." I almost fell off my chair. this was like 40 seconds long and fit so much insanity. I'll tell you what, William Regal was right. They do need an enforcer around because what the actual fuck is happening backstage? Come on. And yeah, I was like, so when there's not a harem, it's just people going to concerts and a college student that's actually a 5,000-year-old dragon lady sleeping. I'm so confused about all of this.
Yeah.
What does literally any of this lead to? Like, I don't know.
Mark Losper says, I don't watch this show, therefore I didn't see this segment. I think I speak for everyone when I say, huh? Yep.
If you did see the segment,
you would have the same reaction.
There it is.
Yeah. You would have the same reaction. Paul Hensler says, JW Pringle, and also with you, season's greetings. Christmas tree emoji.
He put the train around our Christmas tree today.
Oh, that's very nice.
Rules.
Sean Walensky says, NXT 2.0 is now This Is Spinal Tap for wrestling.
No, Spinal Tap was actually could play their fucking instruments.
It was good. And Jay Blood says, well, whiskey came out of my nose for K. Stefan. Man, I don't drink. Whiskey sounds really good. Because I'm gonna need to start drinking again. Because
if you have whiskey, then we're gonna get in a brawl and we're gonna be a tag team.
Oh man.
And we're gonna fight the Creed brothers and something's gonna happen with the tag rope and we're gonna win.
So
this is not whiskey. This is the last of a Diet Pepsi that I'm rage drinking.
Ryan Sullivan sends a Humper chat saying, well, Alex called the dumb thing with the wig. I would say he's a genius, but really he just remembers the other 50 times it was done. I didn't think it was going to look like this, but then again, I should have thought. I mean, I was like, he's going to wear a bad toupee, but I thought it would at least match his natural hair color.
Oh my God.
Like it should be a bad toupee and an obvious one, but instead he came out wearing a full wig that is the color of like Ric Flair hair from 1989. And he says, everyone on the internet said that Cameron Grimes shaved me bald. But as you can see, that didn't happen because I have a full head of hair. And I'm like, that's it. Duke Hudson's dead now. You killed him. There's no way you could nope, I'm sorry. There's nothing you can do now. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then he puts on a thing of headgear, and then Cameron Grimes comes out, and Cameron Grimes says, I did shave you bald, woohoo! Also, I was like, that doesn't count because you cheated. You grabbed the tights, which he totally did, and you shouldn't have won. That's fine. Let's do this again, but now we're going to do it no holds barred. Woohoo! And so they're going to do a no holds barred match next week, and then they actually have a graphic that they've set up with poor Duke Hudson wearing that friggin' wig. It looks like a kid's costume wig for like Hard Times era Dusty Rhodes. You shaved me bald, Daddy, but I'm gonna get you back in our no holds bald match.
Come out in a polka dot. Here's the thing. I still don't really know why they don't like each other.
Yeah, it's true.
I sincerely have no idea why Cameron Grimes has a problem with Duke Hudson. The only thing that's happened is he beat him at poker. And then he also beat him in a hair versus hair match, so he didn't have to cut his hair. Why does he give a shit about Duke Hudson? It makes no sense. I don't understand why this is a no holds barred match. I'm guessing so that he can violently de-wig him.
Yeah.
Man, these are two of the guys that should be at the top of that card that they are just dragging straight into the ground. Duke Hudson's so good, man. What are you doing? Like this? This is what you have?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't shave him bald. Cameron Grimes came out and was like, I shaved you bald. No, you did not. We all saw it.
When that wig is removed next week during that match, if he's actually fully shaved bald, I'm just gonna scream because he doesn't want to be bald. and he wouldn't finish the job. He would wear the thing until it all grew back, and then he would like, see, I'm fine. That would be what he would do if Cameron Grimes wouldn't remove the wig. But
and Duke Hudson's trying so hard. He's trying so hard. He said luck is for losers in the poker game because he knows I'm a CM Punk mark. He did that specifically for me.
Yeah.
Like, and even in this, he tried to make it make sense. And it's almost like a creative challenge. Like, how stupid of a thing can we give Duke Hudson to challenge him to make it make sense?
Yeah. Anyway, they have their stupid match that's going to happen next week. That'll be a lot of fun to talk about.
I'm real nervous that Cameron Grimes is, because there's no holds barred, is going to end up with this haircut.
I mean,
really sincerely,
they're going to extend this stupid feud until New Year's Evil.
Until
they're going to have a match at New Year's Evil. They're keep on going with it. It's going to be forever. Dexter Lumis fought Carmelo Hayes.
Dexter Lumis.
He got
serial killer.
Yep.
Who escaped from a hospital.
He's escaped from a hospital. He cleared himself with his broken hand, and he fought Carmelo Hayes, who is the North American champion, and to make sure they protected both the North American champion, which I get, and also the babyface serial killer, they had Trick Williams deliberately cause a DQ so Carmelo wouldn't lose. Like, Dexter Lumis can get pinned. It's allowed. You can do it. It's allowed. You can do that. He's not being protected for anything, I don't think. I'm pretty sure I've seen him lose before. Like, I don't understand why this is why we're doing this. But
why do you need to protect a serial killer? At this point of the show, I got sincerely mad because I started thinking about like the fact that the talent has to go out and do this. I'm never angry at the talent. I hope that's very clear. I'm angry at what they make them do because this is the biggest load of crap. He escapes from the hospital. I guess his hand was apparently so badly injured he needed to be hospitalized.
Yes.
His hand.
Yeah.
Not an infection because it got cut open and he's a serial killer and let it. His hand was so badly broken he had to stay in a hospital for like a month. That makes no fucking sense. Indy Hartwell doesn't come out here at all. She's been pining for her husband who's been in a hospital. She conveniently can't ever go really see him because she always has to wrestle a match when she'd have an opportunity to. Doesn't come out here. And nobody says anything about the fact that the guy who escaped from a hospital is just apparently medically cleared to fight for a title. That's all fine. And then Trick Williams, who I don't know if he's a tag team partner or valet or whatever the hell he is just out there because just like on the main roster where your Intercontinental Champion might be in a tag team with Rick Boogs or a singles competitor, the same shit is happening here. Everything about this was fucking stupid.
I believe the preferred term for Trick Williams is arm candy.
Barf. This missed for me. Mello, it's not your fault.
Mello's
this
great.
This missed for me.
I love Dexter Lumis. This doesn't make a lot of sense to have them have the match to begin with.
Why are they even fighting each other?
Well, remember it went because Dexter Lumis's haunted house was scary 6 weeks ago, Kate. That's why.
A haunted house was scary.
It was very scary.
No way.
Trick Williams made Trick Williams go pee-pee in his pants. So he doesn't like he gets so scared whenever he sees Dexter Lumis. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Except for when he's interfering with matches to keep him from winning.
No, then he's allowed to punch him. Then he's allowed only then. It's okay. It's terrible.
I couldn't even watch the ring action really. Like I could not get engaged.
It's
because
bad.
I was like, how do you have 3 people involved in 6 things that make no fucking sense? Like I just was so annoyed.
Yeah. Douglas Johnson, going back to the Cameron Grimes segment, says I miss Trevor Lee. We all do. Brendan Towngate says I can feel Kate's pain through the screen when talking about Hudson and Grimes. Also, probably when talking about Mello and Dexter. Mark Losper says, let's not make light of mental health. Get help if you need it. But, and I've said this before in many other occasions, there are several shows, this being one of them, that if you needed to like evidence in like we're gonna have you committed, Vince, I think that like this is a thing, then this would be all you would need to show. Not just Vince, anybody. Like whoever came up with this person needs help, and here's the evidence for that. And then they would like the court would be like, yes, you actually have to be remanded. You're not allowed to take care of yourself anymore. It just, I mean, I don't know, man. It's not even like for heat or for any reason. It's just this is all crazy, and I don't know, man.
You know what the good thing about being this angry is, though, Alex? It kind of keeps me like awake.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But like before this, earlier in the day,
yeah,
I didn't know if I was going to be able to stay awake. If only there was some sort of coffee.
Oh, that would be good.
That would be good. Do you think our friend Sean Ross Sapp would know anything about that?
I mean, he might. He would know more than me. I don't drink coffee.
Okay.
What am I doing with my life? I got to wake up at the crack of 11. I need a new job. I'm too tired for this. Psych! That's because I got 4 Sigmatic coffee. I never tried coffee before 4 Sigmatic. I was afraid of feeling jittery, but then I heard about 4 Sigmatics Perform Coffee, and lately I've been having it in the morning. It's infused with lion's mane for focus, cordyceps for performance. As I've highlighted in the past, sometimes I've got some memory issues. Sometimes I worry about retaining things like that. 4 Sigmatic helps out an awful lot. This stuff is legit. I'm more productive, focused, energetic, and feel on top of my game. You can also use it as a pre-workout if you want. It's easier on the gut. You don't have that jittery feeling. And you're probably wondering, well, cordyceps? Mushrooms? What, does it taste like mushrooms? No. The flavor's rich and smooth. Perfect cup of coffee with all the added functional benefits. They've got over 30,000 5-star reviews, and they back their product with a 100% happiness guarantee. If you don't love it, it's free. What do you have to lose? You lose your wild morning 11 a.m. hair like this. That's for sure. I've worked out an exclusive offer with them just for Fightful listeners. Save 20% on your first order at the 4 Sigmatic website. That's 4sigmatic.com/Fightful. FOURSIGMATIC. Use that coupon code FIGHTFUL at checkout. 20% on anything you want. Check it out. Wake up.
Well, Sean fiddles with his hair as much as I do, and that's a shoe, brother.
It's true. I would, but I don't have any hair. I have funny hats.
I was gonna say, Pussy got a real fun hat on.
I
learned that lion's mane is a mushroom, and
not like actual lion's mane, which would seem bad if you did that.
Which reminded me of Pineapple Express, which reminds me of this next segment that's about weed, because I thought this show couldn't get worse, and then oops, sure did.
Listen, the segment itself, honestly, like it's stupid, but like the substance of it is be yourselves, trust each other. That's the secret to tag team wrestling. Like, I don't know why by the way, the shaman is Matt Riddle. I don't know why Matt Riddle is considered an expert in tag team wrestling. Yes, he was a one-time NXT tag champ and a one-time current Raw tag champ. Okay, fine. But anyway, like the substance of that is fine. And I understand why these guys would be drawn to each other. Okay. You're going to talk about why the segment sucked because of how they played it. I'm going to talk about why the segment sucked because they took 5 weeks to get here. And the payoff is Matt Riddle. Like, that's the best payoff you have. And also, you lied to me because last week when they showed up at the shaman's place, he was super backlit and he was wearing a long sleeve, like, compression t-shirt and combat boots. And now it's Matt Riddle wearing a t-shirt and flip-flops. Like, don't lie to me. You deliberately tried to send me down some other way. Like, what wrestler is famous for wearing combat boots while wrestling? Nope, it's just Matt Riddle because you decided it was. And you really had to take 5 weeks. Like, MSK were the champions. They lost a title match. They never got a rematch. And you've kept them off TV, like from wrestling on TV, for a month and a half so you could do this. That was the payoff? This whole thing was for this payoff? Really? I mean, the segment is like, whatever. I understand the comedy you were trying to go for doesn't work. It's not accurate. Screw you guys. But all of that for this?
Alex, like, first of all, I don't smoke weed. I know people who smoke weed. They've never acted like this. Not once. Not once have they ever acted like anything that I've seen over the past 6 weeks. And not once have they acted like Matt Riddle. They don't ride around on scooters. They don't drive 7 miles an hour. So this is not how people that smoke weed act. On top of that, to your point, they dropped the title to do fucking this. Are we kidding?
I mean, honestly, I think all this was meant to get them over so that when they come back and they start wrestling tag matches again, they're not going to get booed. Honestly, I think that's what this all was. Oh, don't you love these guys? Remember that road comedy they did for 5 weeks where you laughed at their jokes and you thought they were cute? Now you're going to cheer them, right? And I feel like that's not going to happen here.
If they're getting a reaction of getting booed, just turn them the fuck heel. They don't
want them to be for some reason.
This was so dumb. If it wasn't RVD, I thought it was going to be Elias, which I wasn't excited about, but looked like the shadowy figure. Yeah. It ended up being Matt Riddle, who, again, don't show Vince you're funny, because then that's the only thing you are. There's no dimension to Matt Riddle, a phenomenal in-ring wrestler, other than the fact that he gets high and now wears the blazer on SmackDown and pretends to be a journalist. All right. Like, where does this go? Are they going to go fight Imperium for the tag titles?
MSK is coming back next week, probably, to wrestle a match.
Well, hopefully they find the tag rope between now and then.
Yeah, well, eventually they'll find it. I think it's in James Drake's pocket. Whatever. I mean, I don't know how this helps. Honestly, don't know how this. What is this? Here's something.
Is Riddle working NXT now too?
No. He's just here for this thing, teach them how to be good tag people again. But the other thing is that, like, obviously this didn't take them 5 weeks to travel. They weren't standing in the doorway of Riddle's apartment for a week. Like, I don't like when you do it this episodically, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, when did this all, you edited it weird on purpose for, I don't know why you did that. That doesn't help anybody, anything. But I think they're gonna honestly have MSK come back, probably beat Grizzly Young Vets, because they're a comedy heel team now, which is kind of disgusting considering how good they are. And then they're gonna be like, oh, you love these guys now, right? And I mean, I don't know, probably not. So yeah. When you undertake this kind of storytelling, the question must be asked immediately: what is this in aid of? What are we trying to do with this? And are we reasonably sure we'll be able to do that when we spend this much time over several weeks committing to this bit?
They are so bad in this company at having big reveals and having to pay off a match, whatever the reveal has been.
Yeah.
The Funkasaurus being Brodus Clay didn't work out. The anonymous Raw general manager being Hornswoggle under the ring, not great. Like, they consistently do this, and it's so easy to not do this.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. It was this on top of the match that made no sense in 6 different ways.
Yeah.
Really, like, Mandy Rose had a thing after this, and I couldn't even... I can't tell you what Mandy Rose said, A, because her stuff is generic as shit, and B, I couldn't pay attention, because I was just like, great, sure. Of course it's Riddle. Why would it be something that's actually, like, compelling or new or different?
The next thing that I'm going to talk about within this little segment briefly is the bag that has the drugs in it. You don't set up the bag that has the drugs in it and not have it pay off in a comedic fashion that there's not actually drugs in it. What is in it is blank, and you can come up with whatever you want, but it can't be, hey, so man, why don't we share what's in the bag, yo? And they open it up and they go, whoa, and then you cut away so that it's weed. It's weed. It's weed. It's drugs. Like, what is it? Like, make the funny joke of it's actually gummy bears. I love gummy bears, and they eat them, and it's like stupid, but at least it's not whatever you think it is, wink wink. Like, that's dumb. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It should have been souvenirs from their journey all over Florida.
Sure. James Bauer says, this week on Everyone Loses, Nobody Gets Over. And James Nepper says, I think the writers are smoking whatever's in the bag for sure. Is it weed? Maybe. Will it ever make sense? Maybe.
I mean, I don't smoke weed, but from what I understand, it sometimes helps you get creative juices flowing. So I'm going to say they are not smoking whatever is in the bag.
Mandy has some stupid promo as they're walking to the ring.
About
how we're the best ever. It doesn't help or hurt anything. It's just a thing that she says. And then Toxic Attraction wins a squash against Valentina Feroz and Yulisa Leon. I don't have anything to say about this. They won the match. It was a squash, basically.
Jobbiest jobbers, whoever job.
And after the match, Mandy comes out and shoots on Vic Joseph for some reason. I know you're looking at me, Vic Joseph, who's like engaged to Mackenzie Mitchell, who does the backstage interviews in WWE NXT. So are they starting that? Are they starting a thing there now? I don't know. Who cares?
I didn't know that was a real life fun fact.
Yeah,
that's cute.
Yeah, they're cute together. He is legitimately 3 times taller than she is. Like, he is a tall boy. Yeah, she tells him to stop drooling. Whatever.
Also, her fur thing sucked.
Yeah, it was bad. But then she's interrupted by Cora Jade, who's wearing a sling, and I was like, please don't have her like, just kidding, I'm not actually wearing a sling, and tucked inside my sling is a tiny skateboard. Like, I want her to actually sell that injury. Like, she had to have her arm reset during the match. Don't have her just like, oh, it was fine. The doctors checked me out and I'm cleared to wrestle. Like,
Dr. Shirai.
Have her sell it. And I guess they are. But she says that, hey, look, I won WarGames and I pinned you 2 weeks ago. So when's my title match? Well, how about when you're healthy, Cora? But they decide they're going to beat her up, and then Raquel runs out with a chair as the equalizer. Not the equalizer, because that's Draco Anthony. But anyway, she runs them off, and they have a little backstage segment where, like, thanks for having my help. And then Cora Jade cuts a really bad, overwritten promo, like, hey, I mean, we won WarGames, and I did pin Mandy 2 weeks ago. So maybe I could become NXT Women's Champion. And it's like, I know you talk better than that because I've seen you in backstage interviews, like where they do like stuff just for Twitter and stuff. It makes sense, and she sounds like a normal person. Why are you telling her she has to say everything like this? Stop telling her to do that. It doesn't make her endearing at all. And then Raquel says, actually, I should get the title match. And then Kaylee Ray says, here's an aluminum bat. You should use this to hit people with it. And she says, well, what do you use? "Oh, don't worry, I've got lots of them." So she's just got a collection of aluminum bats. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is made of either. But okay. I mean, I don't know.
There's really great video on the internet of Cora, Jade, and my best friend CM Punk that you guys should go seek out. It's really, really sweet. Now, inauthentic as the promo sounded, it at least made wrestling sense. Like, that was my whole thing with the WarGames, was like, at least you are building someone with wins. And even though this promo was unnatural, at least she pointed out things like, hey, I beat this woman.
Yep.
And our team beat this woman's team. So it at least made sense, which I am grasping at straws for on this show. So I will take that. What didn't make sense in the ring stuff with Mandy was she was like, I want to face you. And Mandy goes, you're not the one. And then goes, get in the ring with me right now. I was like, but you literally just said she's not the one. That made no sense at all. And she's hella injured. So didn't love that. There are some viable contenders, at least for, like, Raquel can go face Mandy because Cora's injured, right? So that's good. As can Kaylee Ray. I missed the part where she said she had more baseball bats, and I was like, why is there only one bat in the world? Like, just go to Dick's Sporting Goods. But I guess she has more, which is kind of fun. But I'm like, you also, not every match is a no DQ match, and you're not Sting. Like, when did the baseball bat become your thing?
Yeah.
This makes
because of those vignettes where she would like hit plates or something with it. I don't know why. Nerd Guru says, I'm so sick of Mandy, and let's be real here, KLR and Dakota could out-wrestle her in their sleep. Make that the title feud, but this is 2.0. No. I think there's a place for Mandy. I just don't think this is necessarily it. And she's just, let's be real, she's just going to duck challengers because that's the kind of character she's playing. And I don't want to see that because I think there's Kaylee Ray should be the champion at some point. I don't know when that is.
Yeah, but I can get behind like Kaylee Ray versus Gigi Dolan at least or whatever. You know what I mean? Like if
those matches could be fun too, but like
lackeys, yeah. But I just also feel like Mandy Rose. Like, why don't you just have her with Dana Brooke on the main roster facing Carmella and Zelina? Like, why? Why did this?
I mean, like Joe Holbert talking about WarGames says like. The plan has got to be when you bring Mandy back up, because you're going to bring her up with the whole act. Like you're going to bring Gigi and JJ with her. So it just depends on when that happens. You didn't send her down there forever. You sent her down there to get this new character over, and then you're going to bring her up. Like, so I don't know when that's going to be.
Joe's real smart, so that makes sense.
We got a Tiffany Stratton package. She's a gymnast. Now this is something
No. This isn't just any package, my friend. This is Tiffany's Epiphanies.
Yes, that's right. Tiffany's Epiphanies. Tiffany Stratton package, where she's a gymnast, apparently a Olympic gymnast.
Was that real, by the way? I sincerely don't know.
Honestly, I have no idea. I'm assuming she's not using her shoot name, so I'd have to like look at the pictures of all the Olympic gymnasts from Rio 2016 and be like, I think that's her. So honestly, I have no idea. But she said it's like my daddy said I could be whatever I wanted, so I said I wanted to be a gymnast, and then he got me a trainer, and I worked out, and I was on the Olympics because I'm the best. Because daddy says so. And then he says, what else you want to be? I said, I want to be NXT Women's Champion. So that's what I'm going to do because I'm Tiffany Stratton. Okay.
Sure did. As I was watching Tiffany's Epiphanies, I was like, Eddie Kingston had a tryout for this company. That literally ran through my head. There are some people in the chat who are asking about super chats and humper chats. Super chats are, I think, and humper chats are based on how many characters. So if you want to contribute a certain amount of characters, you have to contribute more money. People were also asking about why I keep fidgeting with my hair. It's because my bangs are too long. All right. I need a haircut. I'm getting one Thursday. Calm down.
Maybe you should go to your barber.
I should, and I'll ask him about rap artists.
You should. Okay. Then we cut directly from the Tiffany Stratton package to Tony D'Angelo being interviewed backstage. He says, "Hey, you know what that Tiffany Stratton? She's a very nimble athlete, isn't she?" That's. I just want him just to be that guy so bad, but he says, hey, so we won the WarGames, and I got myself a little souvenir, and he's encased Pete Dunne's mouth guard in lucite. I'm gonna sell this thing on eBay. Hey, and me and Petey Poppins, we figured out what we're gonna do here. And then Andre Chase comes in, and in WarGames, Andre Chase came in, and he said he had a strategy for them to win, and they kicked him out. And the strategy was actually Tony D'Angelo's strategy, because he was ordering everybody around in that ring. He was the mastermind of this whole thing, which I loved. But then Andre Chase says, maybe if you had followed my strategy, it would have been you everyone was talking about instead of Grayson Waller. Like, Grayson Waller was the third person I would be talking about in that match. Like, even though he did the thing off the top, Carmelo Hayes did most of the work, and Braun Breaker was like the star who pinned the guy. Why would everybody be talking about Grayson Waller? It's ridiculous. Anyway, he says, wait, Grayson Waller? I'm the guy who told him to go up on the top of the cage. He never would have jumped off the top of the cage if it wasn't for Tony D. I wanted him to say that. He didn't. But he did say, hey, Andre Chase, how about I meet you in the ring next week, and I'm going to kick your ass, gabagool. And I think to myself, okay, well, Andre Chase is a heel we all hate. Are they turning Tony D'Angelo like face-ish? Like, he's a tweener. And I love him being a tweener. Like, he will beat up and insult anybody. Doesn't matter if they're face or heel. I just love that he's allowed to do that.
I think they are still testing the waters with that, because everybody loves this dude. So he's kind of a face, but he's a mobster. So you would think he'd be a heel. I think they're going to play both sides of the fence for a little bit, and that's fine. I love Tony D, obviously. I did not like... My notes just say Tony with like 1,000 exclamation points. I did not like Andre Chase like saying that like whatever he said was rude or something right toward the end of it, or they don't accept that behavior at Chase University. I was like, bro, you put students through their desks. Like, that makes no sense. But it also makes no sense that he has his own university. So here we are, I guess.
Anyway, looking forward to Tony D kicking the ass of Andre Chase next week. Kenshiro sends a super chat talking about Tiffany Stratton. This company wanted Thunder Rosa as a ref.
Yeah.
So
this company has Kushida in jacket time. Like, I'm not.
Boa wants. Boa has had enough, and now he wants Enofe. Boa wants to fight Enofe next week. We're gonna get that.
If he does not have a submission called the Boa Constrictor, I'm going to be so sad. Come on.
That's good.
That's so good. That's like my best work.
Zion,
it's all downhill from here, guys.
Zion fights Santos Escobar. This is your in-ring main event. At the end, after a decent match between these two, there's a huge Hurricane Rana off the top rope. And Zion Quinn rolls over to the edge, and he lays there like this, and Elektra Lopez puts brass knuckles on his hand, and somehow Joaquin Wilde sees this from the other side of the ring, jumps up on the apron, and is like, hey, he's got brass knuckles on his hand, and the ref is like, you can't do that. And because of this, he gets distracted and loses to Santos Escobar. And Elektra Lopez is either looking like, oh, well, my plans have been foiled again, or everything worked perfectly. I don't know which, because she's kind of hard to read. I guess that's the whole point. But Zion Quinn versus Santos Escobar continues unabated for no reason.
Okay, I want to be in a telenovela where someone is fighting for me. I've decided.
Yep.
That's what I've taken away from this. There was also a vignette earlier where he was like shadow boxing the air and was like, bang bang. Like, nobody tells me what to do. Yep. I was like, I want someone doing that. And I want to be in a dramatic telenovela, I've decided. This match was fine. Escobar rules.
Yeah, he's great.
He's just so good in the ring. And Zion holds his own. Zion's all right. I don't know how you see brass knuckles from across the ring, but a referee doesn't see someone come in and take a tag rope.
Yeah.
I guess because all the other referees were backstage sorting out the concert ticket incident that happened earlier in the night. But this match was perfectly fine. It felt very palpable that people were waiting for the Gargano stuff that followed. I felt like it got like a little bit gypped that way, but Escobar's great. I just don't know what happens here. I'm actually kind of, as far as the things that are going on in NXT, this was kind of fun. Like, it's fine. It's goofy. There is a chemistry there. Like, Elektra Lopez has some intrigue. But it's supposed to be cheesy, so I can buy into the cheese, as opposed to these other things which are not supposed to be cheesy that end up coming across very cheesy.
We got here's my pitch. I think that we need a absolute true top mid-card heel act on SmackDown. Bring up Santos and his boys from NXT, pair them and expand the faction and include Los Lotharios and make it into like a 5-man faction that runs wild all over the mid card. And they could work out. You could have Santos Escobar come out of Roman Reigns' dressing room, like to the tie thing, that he's basically has a handshake agreement that I'm not going to mess with you and you don't mess with me. I think we have a good relationship. I think a Santos Escobar running the mid-card as the heels, because what do you got? Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss? They're a sideshow act. We need a strong mid-card heel act. I think those 5 guys could be a lot of fun. And eventually you can split them all up and you can break guys off, but I think it could be better, because I don't know where his ceiling is in NXT 2.0. I feel like they're just going to put Zion Quinn over him and then move on.
Do that and bring up Blonde Uso to the bloodline, I think.
Yeah.
I think that could be really good. If you call them up at the same time, that works. Yeah, I don't know what's next for Escobar in the same way that I don't know what's next for like Ciampa when he loses the title or this generation of NXTers.
Zach Schimmel says, so we got Professor Graps and Kate Hensauer needing sour chats. Does that work? Love you guys. The Fightful Team Wars are awesome.
They're friendly.
All right, we got a lot of super chats to get through and a few of these of my jukeboxes. So I'm going to run
get them in now. Get them in now.
As fast as possible. No more. I have enough to get through in the next 18 minutes. I have to do all this stuff. The Nerd Guru says, jacket time, more like jack shit time. Am I right? But I'm bumped. Love it. Mark Losper says, Angry Kate is the best Kate. Saws.
Thank you. I promise I won't turn happy and get a tag team partner that just makes shitty dad jokes.
Their Nerd Guru says heel Orange Cassidy equals pulp.
I'm into that. I think he squishes his opponents into pulp.
True. Mark Losper says, even your barber would hate this show, Kate. I
have a barber because I had half my head shaved one time, and I'm just going to scoot around the rest of that subtext.
JW Pringle says, Kate, stop using logic, both regular logic and pro wrestling logic. You have to hold your breath until you see stars, and it makes no sense still. Sorry, I got nothing. Bad show, bad.
It was real bad today, guys.
Yeah.
And WarGames wasn't terrible. Like, if WarGames was a C+, this was an F. Like, this whole show, I had problems with every step of this show.
Hamancito Gomez says, unpopular thing to say, but I'm enjoying NXT more than Raw or SmackDown. Wish the WWE title had more oomph and no one's benefited from facing Roman. Listen, I think this show is more interesting. Like, it has more stuff in it that I'm like, even if I like, what the hell, this is crazy. Like, it's not as boring as most of Raw and all of SmackDown for me. Like, nothing happens on there of any note. At least these are like new weird characters that suck, but at least they're different.
Stefan NXT is maybe bad. To me, they're exactly the same because they keep just applying what's happening on the main roster to this. So
yeah,
apples to Orange Cassidy's.
Yeah. Slammin' Sammy Joe says they should bring Paige in on commentary to replace Beth Phoenix. What do you think?
I'm not someone who needs a 3-person booth.
But they do, so who's going to replace Beth Phoenix?
They do, yeah. I don't know if it's someone that we've seen before. I don't hate the idea of Paige by any means. Like, I think she's great, but
I think they should do like a trial, like give some people some different things. I love the idea of a female voice being on the commentary desk.
Yeah,
so
put Veda
it
Scott
doesn't have to be Paige, but I would love to somebody to be there.
Go hire Veda Scott. She's great. She's great.
NXT moving to 2 hours, says Justin Monday, and the takeovers not being a special has ruined NXT. Yeah, it's kind of gone downhill. I will say that. Definitely. Sean Blanford says, hello, Kalex. Here's my weekly donation for all the hard work you two do for us people. Here's hoping that with a new year comes to a sense of direction for who they want to push for 2.0. Who would you fit to focus on pushing besides Braun, Mello, and Tony D?
Duke Hudson.
I mean, we would, but that's beyond possible now. Cameron Grimes, I think, should be a major player for as long as he's there. I don't expect him to be there for a long time.
I like this LA Knight too. Like I like
this version of LA Knight is much more compelling than the other one.
Yeah, I like this a lot from him. For the women, I really like Kaylee Ray, and I think Raquel Gonzalez should get called up though. So
she's getting called up. I don't know when, but she's
especially with Nia being gone now. I feel like she fills the void there.
Yeah. Well, they already filled that void with Doudrop. She turned heel right after they fired Nia Jax.
Oh, that's right.
They're like,
put someone like that on SmackDown though too. We don't have any hard hitters over there.
That's true.
Build a tag team division again. Whatever.
Yeah. Mark Losper says, completely unrelated, maybe something for Sean when he's editing the show. Sean, here's one for you. Can anyone tell me where Samoa Joe is? Is time getting added to his deal? Where is Samoa Joe? That's a good question.
I don't know, but I do know this. They're going to work real hard to keep him from going to AEW, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they honestly might not think he's got anything left. So fine, go. Have fun. Leave. And then he can do whatever he could manage the hell out of somebody if he honestly cannot go anymore in the ring. He's such a good talker. He could scare me into paying for a ticket immediately. Like he's just really, really good.
He's gonna go have a match with CM Punk in AEW.
Yeah. Dave says it's hard not to lose respect for people that stay now. WWE is so morally bankrupt and shows no decency, releasing so many people through a pandemic. Yeah, I mean, listen, we don't know what Johnny has. Obviously has some really good memories. And I think that him seeing what this place is becoming, but trying to reconcile that with the thing that he loved being a part of would be really hard for him. I mean, I think the smartest thing he's doing is what it appears to be just taking some time off. And that's probably the best thing for him.
Yeah, I don't fault anybody for staying employed anywhere. You're also just assuming that he could walk into AEW and get a job or wants to go back to working in the indies when he has a kid. There is, I was going to say there is security, but I guess not because they fire anybody at any point. But at the same time, then he's just back where he would have been anyway. Right. So I don't fault anybody for staying employed and trying to make the product better. I think Kevin Owens is about run himself into the ground trying to do that. That guy sincerely, every time he goes out there, it's so obvious, is trying so hard. We saw it on Monday. We saw it yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel R has 2 Humper chats.
Humper chat.
Hi all, hope you're doing well. What would you do if you are Ciampa? I get that he is the champion, but this isn't his NXT. Also, do you ever see the USA Network just taking NXT off TV, saying this isn't what they paid for? I don't know. I mean, they're not doing great in the ratings, but they're doing better than whatever USA would run in its place. This is first run WWE material. as opposed to what, like another rerun of London Has Fallen? Like I don't know what else they're gonna do. And Ciampa, I mean, he's got time. They've added a lot of time to him because of the neck stuff. So I think he's going to be there for a while. Eventually, he's going to put over Braun Breaker, and then when he's done, I feel like he's done. I don't think he wants to go to the main roster. He's already kind of said that. I think that I don't know if they would do it, but if you wanted to reunite DIY and go on an indie tour around the world, they would sell out arenas by themselves because people loved that team, man. They loved it, and it could be a lot of fun. I don't know.
If I were Ciampa, I would probably cry. I would cry, I think, because he has a lot of time left, and he doesn't fit. He, of anybody, doesn't fit in anywhere. I hate to say that, and it's not because of him.
He's doing great with this role he's playing right now, but that has a serious shelf life on it.
I think it's coming up, and I don't see him being in the Royal Rumble fighting it. I could see him versus like Edge, I guess. But man, who he is a pro wrestler, you know. Mm. I think it's gonna be a rough however long he has left.
Yeah.
I don't know. TV is an interesting one because no, I don't think this is what they signed up for. No, I don't think it benefits the product to be on television because it doesn't feel like a TV product anymore. But people forget that not great wrestling ratings are still oftentimes a lot better than regular ratings, to your point. So I don't know what you would put in its place.
Yeah.
I think as long as they keep producing live wrestling, we'll keep it around.
True. Daniel also says, I get it's not NXT, but any predictions for the Battle Royal tomorrow on AEW? And what's one young gun NXT versus AEW match you would want to see from me? It's Carmelo Hayes versus Lee Moriarty. Man, see, young gun NXT, well, you kind of limit it because I love Tony D'Angelo, but I honestly don't know what he could really do in the ring yet. So I would either be Hayes or Breaker from NXT. If you're limited to young gun guys, and in AEW, well, the sky's the limit. But I mean, you wanted to tell me that I get Pitbull, Danny Garcia trying to tear the ligaments out of Braun Breaker's ankle and knee and everything, while Braun Breaker just tries to get his hands on him. That could be a lot of fun to see how that goes. I don't know.
I would say either Mello and Garcia or Breaker, and if you include Darby Allin as a young gun, I would say Darby Allin. As far as the Battle Royal goes, I'm saying Wardlow gets the diamond ring, and we get the dissension of that. Sidebar, I think CM Punk winning would be the funniest shit in the world. Like CM Punk with a diamond ring is hysterical to me.
I because remember it's the last two in the Battle Royal tomorrow face each other for the diamond ring in a one-on-one match.
That's right.
So I would love it if the last two were either Wardlow and MJF, because that's interesting, or Wardlow and Punk. And then you get that match for a reason as opposed to just because it's part of the feud that they're doing with MJF. Anyway. Okay, I got like 5 minutes to do all these other ones. Shauna Walensky says, Johnny, where in the hell are you from anyway? The Upper West Side. Ghostbusters Mark here. When someone asks if you are a god, you say yes. Greatest movies. Yeah, I agree. Kimberly Cecil, appreciation super chat for Kate and her amazing lipstick. Be well, everyone.
Thank you.
Mateo says, it's 6 a.m. and my kid just woke up. Great to see you're still on. Kalex forever. Keep cool, Gabagool. Absolutely.
Also with you.
Okay. This is I have too many songs. I'm going to have to keep you will see us sing these songs. I promise. Next week. We have a lot of people here. We're here tonight for the Johnny leaves, Kyle O'Reilly leaves thing. We have too many things to do. I'm not going to do this to Sean. He will fire me.
Wait, you should do the Regal rap though.
I'm definitely doing the Regal rap. I can't do all of these.
I know Ryan. We can skip him. And we can skip Luis. This is actually perfect.
So, the
go back to back Regal.
The Nerd Guru says that I'm supposed to do this. Here we go. Hey, how you doing? I don't care. There you go. That's my scene I was supposed to do between Tony D'Angelo and Petey Poppins. James Bowers says, "May the gabagool be with you and with your spirit." I don't care. I'm Pete Dunne. Jay Blood says, "I need a Serge from Beverly Hills Cop conversation with Dr. Poha." I will write that for you, and I will do it for you next week. I promise, Jay Blood. I promise you. But I'm not going to improv that right now because I'm not going to be able to do it right. But I will do it. That actually really makes me happy that I would get to do that. But next week.
That warms your heart.
Yes, it does. Shane Heckman says, "Yesterday was my birthday. Can Walter and Dunn sing happy birthday to you?" Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. I don't care. Happy birthday, dear Shane Heckman. Happy birthday to you. I don't care. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna use Ryan and Luis. You guys get next week. So save those somewhere, Luis, so we can do them next week. Okay? Okay.
I gotcha.
Good. So we've got 2 William Regal raps, and I got to do these quick. Okay, here we go. I was gonna save this for closer to the holiday, but I'm gonna do it now anyway. William Regal rap, Christmas and Hollis Queens by Run DMC. It was December 24th on Hollis Ave after dark. When I see a man chilling with his dog in the park, I approached him very slowly with my heart full of fear, looked at his dog. Oh my God, an ill reindeer. But then I was illin' because the man had a beard and a bag full of goodies. 12 o'clock it neared, so I turned my head a second and the man was gone, but he left his driver's wallet smack dead on the lawn. I picked the wallet up, but then I took a pause, took out the license, and it cold said Santa Claus. $1 million in it, cold hundreds of G's, enough to buy a boat and matching car with ease. But I'd never steal from Santa, because that ain't right, so I'm going home to mail it back to him that night. But when I got home, I bugged, because under the tree was a letter from Santa, and the dough was for me. It's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens. Mom's cooking chicken and collard greens, rice and stuffing, macaroni and cheese, and Santa put gifts under Christmas trees. Decorate the house with lights at night. Snow's on the ground, snow white so bright. In the fireplace is the Yule log, beneath the mistletoe as we drink eggnog. The real rhymes you hear are the rhymes of Daryl's, but each and every year we burst Christmas carols, WarGames.
I don't know why, but I bugged really popped me. Don't send it anymore. We're running out of time.
All right. I have one more. Sean, do not kill me. I have to do this one because I have to. It's Baby Got Back. It's the Zach Barber
request of the night. Yeah.
It's the request of the night. Has to be done. Follow me at Alex Sarograph. Follow her at Kate on Deck IC. Subscribe to Fightful Select. As soon as this is over, I'm going to hit the end broadcast. I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny that when a girl walks in with an itty-bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. I want to pull up top because you notice that butt was stuffed deep in the jeans she's wearing. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring. Oh, baby, I want to get with ya and take your picture. My homeboys tried to warn me, but that butt you got makes me so horny. Oh, rump so smooth skin. You say you want to get in my Benz? Well, use me, cause you ain't that average groupie. I've seen 'em dancing. To hell with romancing, she's wet, got it going like a turbo vet. I'm tired of magazines saying flat butts are the thing. Take the average man and ask him that. She's got to pack much back. So, fellas, fellas, has your girlfriend got the butt? Hell yeah. Tell him to shake it.
Shake it.
Shake it.
Shake it.
Shake that healthy butt. Baby Got Back. I'll do the other verses some other time. Because I do love this song. And it takes me back.
It's art.
For 12 Days of Christmas, 5 is 5 Gabagos. Thank you, Zach Schemmel. I'll definitely use that one. with 40 seconds to spare. Good night, everybody.
Keep cool, Gabagools.
Keep cool, Gabagool.